a freewheeling cavalcade of circular motion, thus defined by the octagon table of double-wide mental introspection and dedicated utilitarian outward thinking in defense of zero content. Translation: we ain't got nothing. Oh, hey folks, dude here. Coming in again, an iteration of Dude After Dark. I have played with my microphone levels a little bit, so hopefully I won't be, breaking up and, overmodulating and, over peaking and all the rest of that, fun sound guy type stuff. But anyway, looking at the way things in shape and form in which we find ourselves, hopefully that fixes the vocal oscillations. Sound guide. No, it's not. Sound guy. It's not caca, okay? It's engineering on the sound aspects, so we're not overmodulating and we're not making it sound like we're saving that for Joe Caca, okay? Not anybody else, but Joe Caca. Anyway, so looking at things as it is, we're now going to be talking about something other than the name is. Okay, he's in rare form, folks. Anyway, looking at things as it is, we're going to be going through the news, my cavalcade of stuff that I have gathered up and thus perused thoroughly. And hopefully I find some stuff that you guys find interesting, good stuff like that there. So let me proceed on to the beginning of the beginning. And where else can we go but with the classic case of, man, you want to talk about the worst optics possibly, and I do mean ever. This whole politician channeling on board the hey, I'm like you, I make hamburgers. That was like so beyond obviously fake when they posed the person out. So they're like, posing out, holding a hamburger on a spatula, like, I'm like you. Yeah, obviously, no, like, the classic one, Schmuck You Schumer, doing his classic, cooking a raw cheeseburger, raw burger on the grill, cheese on top. Chuck, no, that's not how you make a cheeseburger. Secondly, I could probably understand why he's not nuanced to these things, obviously being of the Jewish persuasion. You don't mix the milk and the meat. So you wouldn't be eating a cheeseburger in the first place. You obviously wouldn't be cooking a cheeseburger in the first place. But potentially somebody could have been charitable and said, "Hey Chuck, that's not how you do it." Yeah, that's not how you do it. Okay. Excuse me 1 second. I got Tiggy juice. Hot Tiggy juice. Sound guy. No, it's not knife stab. It's fine, okay? It's not like I'm doing anything terribly crazy. I'm simply having some Java. Sound guy. It's just hot coffee. It's spicy.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Okay, I have no clue where he's going with that one. Anyway, so getting into the news, obviously, the whole optics on that thing was like beyond absolutely just horrifically bad optics. I mean, politicians trying to act like the everyman, first and foremost, you ain't. Second off, you're not. Third off, it doesn't play well because it just looks fake, vacant, and not really like the standard things that any average human being in these United States would be doing, performing, or living their daily lives in the pursuit they're in. Anyway, so the optics on it was just absolutely hilarious. Scrolly. This I find really interesting. I may have bounced on this one last time, but supposedly, her, how would you say this except to simply talk about uh, Vice President Kamala?
I'm coming.
Stop.
Come on, squeal.
Don't want to come.
Okay, I stopped that one right there. So anyway, Vice President Harris, sound guy, would you stop? All right, so Vice President Harris said that there's the one Republican who would be the quote unquote greatest threat to her vice presidency if chosen as the former President Trump's 2024 running mate. Ashley Etienne, who served as Harris's communication director in 2021, okay, so anyway, Ashley Etienne, I guess she's going back for twofers. Anyway, served as the Harris communication director in 2021, told CNN on Friday that she believes Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, Republican Ohio, is and I love when people use phrases like this that can be so misconstrued, but so quote unquote is an incredible debater and could present a challenge to Harris in the upcoming election. I think pretty much a slice of ham on, well, white bread could be a pretty good, incredible debater against Vice President Harris. She's just not it, man. She's just not. Not. Patriot Fever reporting from the truck cab this week. Sound guy's going to have a hell of a time replacing Kamala. I don't know, man. She's anyway, I had to stop that. Safe to say that Patriot Fever is now either spraying, harvesting, or working the fields and some persuasion therein. But the thing about it is, I've seen those cabs and a lot of those harvesting machines, and usually they have, like, there's not a whole hell of a lot more than you're just going back and forth, following the lines, cleaning the field. I'm sure it's like driving long distance trucking. You need something to break the routine. So obviously he's probably got something going on in terms of, like, some form of sound system or a computer going, or obviously a movie going. And the better units, I've actually seen actual better units, like, obviously, the impossible to service yourself guys. But supposedly, there's like the actual better units out there that'll follow satellite GPS, and they'll keep their rows like tight, and they'll actually track the field where you're just on board going, okay, I'm making sure it's not going foobar, and the unit is actually like navigating itself around the fields. Not like you want to basically hop off and let the thing just, keep on going by itself, because you always want to have a hand on the tiller, even on autopilot. But the better units actually will do that. Patriot Fever. Little Patriots 6 alarm diaper can out debate Kamala. Oh, yeah. A pile of could outdo her. Oh, man. This one I found to be completely hilarious. So supposedly Facebook is now carrying YouTube's water. Why? Well, because they said it was spam. Well, it's not spam, folks. But there is now a link up, and you know what? I will not be beholden to if you block every single ad I ever have on my videos. I don't care. I really don't make hardly anything for ad revenue. Excuse me 1 second here. If it's been $2,000 in the entire career of my channel, I'd be surprised. Anywho, so Facebook was trying to prop up YouTube, and this isn't spam, F maggot book. So anyway, YouTube is now playing ad games, and they're undercutting their videos in such a way that the sponsor ads are hidden in the middle of the videos, and they're actually doing it in such a way that some of the ad blockers aren't catching it. So anyway, looking at the way it has been, pretty much it's really hilarious the way these guys do these things. You know, the big corporate entities is like Thor's hammer, we come up with it and you will not stop us. 2 days later, there's a program out going, hi, I fixed it so you can't deal with their Bravo Sierra any longer. So anyway, way, shape, and form, which I found ourselves here, is there is now these sponsor ads coming up, and they're really, truly annoying. The guys running the channels really don't make that much money off YouTube ad revenue. That's why they got to have the sponsors in the first place. So anyway, the way, shape, and form which we find ourselves, these sponsor ads are now really just freaking annoying. It's just another thing to have to click through, waste your time. You just want to watch the blanking video. You don't want to deal with all the Bravo Sierra from YouTube as they're trying to gain their ad revenue, playing on YouTube and making their videos pretty much like, well, old style television when you had to wait for the stupid commercial to get back to the program. I do not do that. I have on my desktop right now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and possibly more icons hidden running on my Chrome browser right now, blocking all the ads. There was one I turned off because it was just not playing nice, trying to do upload videos. It kept crashing. It kept crashing the YouTube live videos. So I uninstalled that one. But anyway, the ad blocker on this one is called Sponsor Block. And Sponsor Block is an open source, crowdsourced browser extension and open API for skipping sponsor segments in YouTube videos. Users submit when a sponsor happens from the extension, and the extension automatically stops sponsors. Now it's kind of cool because you look at the video, and in the video is like a little icon in the bar itself that has like the annotation button and the gear button. So there's now a new icon on there, and if you want to see the sponsor, you can actually click through. Otherwise, you'll see this little bracket pop up, and then basically it's like a little prompt, and it says, "Hey, do you want to see the sponsor?" I just clicked right through it, and that stays up for about 5 seconds, and it disappears. The other thing too is also looking at this guy. It is new and improved technology, and it'll automatically be updating, and people will be going, "Oh, that's a sponsored ad," and all they got to do is just say that's a sponsored ad, and it goes, "Oh, okay." And so it automatically skips sponsors. It knows about it using a privacy-preserving query system. It also supports skipping other categories such as intros, outros, and reminders to subscribe, and skipping to the point with the highlight. Check status sponsor. Okay, that's the link there. So check status.sponsor.aj.app for server status. There are currently 452,279 users who have submitted 17,136,457 skip segments, which saved a total of 498 years or 137.828 days of people's lives. Check it out on the leaderboard. Tired of clickbait? Also check out D-Arrow is another one. So anyway, the site link address for this, you can probably just search for it. It's just called Sponsor Block. However, if that's not working for you, you can simply just go to sponsor.aj, so AJAY .app. So sponsor.aj.app. And it'll put you right on there. Click on that booger, install it in your Chrome browser. It just works. It just works. I'm tired of this heavy-handed, you can't skip through our ads. And every time I pull up a video that somebody sends me a link on my phone, it's like, 5 seconds, skip. Nope, second ad, 5 seconds. Now you can skip. So you know what? You just wasted 10 seconds of my time not watching the video here. I will see it at home where I have all these ad blockers, and I'll just catch up with it later on. So unbelievably blanking annoying. To no good end, and yes, every time that these guys come up with something, not too terribly long thereafter, somebody comes up with a link to squash it, and good times are had by all to remove these things and make life better. Scroll. I'm checking stuff from obviously Uber. I get reservations. I have to check them on every so often so I can accept them. Scrolly. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but you know him, you love him, but President. That's right, President Kaka. Oh, I cannot do this one justice, folks, but let's just say that President is not motivating very well. Truthpress.com. I cannot do this justice, folks. I really, truly cannot do this justice. But I will say this. Remember, you Democrats, you asked for this. You said that Trump was too old and infirm. 130 days until election. Will Kaka make it until then? Will he make it through the debates? Well, coming in from truthpress.com, Biden is now struggling to enter the Secret Service SUVs while the Secret Service guys are shielding him from cameras as they're trying to show him getting into and out of the vehicles. So, President Joe Biden has faced a moment of difficulty getting into an SUV captured by video that's circulating on Wednesday. The footage shows Joe Kaka struggling to get into a vehicle while the Secret Service agents move to shield him from the media's lenses. Yeah, it's not even pretty, folks. I mean, I'll put it in perspective, okay? They're driving either Suburbans or Tahoes, okay? They are not the smallest vehicles. As a matter of fact, they're driving Suburbans and Tahoes, and I can see the back end of that thing. It is the older version of the Suburban or Tahoe where it runs the live axle. It's not the independent rear that they currently have. That is an up-armored vehicle, and it needs that additional strength. Excuse me one second here. I mean, even just the doors. You can see the doors are like, they look like they're about a foot thick. Man, that thing is built like a blanking tank. So anyway, they caught him trying to get out of the thing. You know, concerns about Biden's age have been heating up since the 2024 election. As already oldest president in U.S. history at 81, his age is shaping up to be a key issue in his bid for re-election. Meanwhile, you still see Trump walking around golf courses and doing everything he needs to do. No problems there. Patriot Fever sponsoring Dude or Sound Guy. Well, technically, there still should be sponsored ads that come up on my video because what I do is I put the ads enabled on my video, but I do actually have it set up in such a way that I have to insert the ads. I just don't insert the ads. Whatever ads are on my video, that comes up as what YouTube does. And the only reason I do that is because it just makes it maybe a little bit better in the search parameters. If I have no ads, they probably go, oh, well, he's completely shutting us down. We're not going to give him a single crumb. So that's the only reason I got it turned on, is to try to improve the SEOs, of which my channel has miserable SEOs right now because obviously I've been downgraded because I'm not putting out content that YouTube likes anymore. Oh, well, it is what it is. Scrolly. Recently, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, also known as Bobblehead, has dismissed a series of lapses that shown Biden in seminal moments of frailty. Republicans have slammed Democrats for downplaying concerns about president's health and mobility. In recent weeks, several videos have surfaced showing Joe Kaka appearing frozen during significant events. Notably, those include the D-Day commemoration in France. That's when he wasn't really, crapping his pants at the moment. The G7 summit in Italy, and the campaign fundraiser held on Sunday. So polls are showing significant voter reprehension regarding Biden's capability to serve another term. Dude, he will be a dead duck in the water. An NBC News poll indicates that 64% of all respondents have major concerns about his age and health, with a majority of Democratic voters expressing moderate to significant worries. No kidding. Another ABC News poll is even more stark, revealing that 86% of Americans feel Biden is too old for a second term. Despite these concerns, Biden supporters point to the vast experience and policy. Vast experience and policy achievements, arguing these factors should mitigate any worries related to his age. Okay, he's been an elected official since 1973. He's been in office, I think, since 1974. What was his first noteworthy thing? Screwing us up to get us out of Vietnam. He's got a long track record. And even Obama said, it won't be any time at all before Joe will chuck something up. So even Obama has like zero confidence in him. Yeah, right, exactly. Patriot Fever says he's still waiting for him to convert the beast to electric. Dude, that will never, ever, ever happen for two very good reasons. One, it's got to be transported in Air Force One or another aircraft. You don't carry around electric vehicles like that unless you really want to be toting around a couple tons worth of, basically potential explosives. Yeah, lithium ion batteries sometimes just don't play nice. And when they do go up, it is a glorious boom. The fire department goes, that's going to just sit there for 24 hours before we even go near it because they got no way to put it out. You put water on it, it gets worse. You try to use any chemical kind of fire extinguishers, it's a self-propagating fire. No bueno. No bueno. So anyway, it looks not so great with Joe locking up and, trying to navigate vehicles. Yeah. I'll put it in perspective, though. I was down in Florida visiting friends and obviously took a cruise. And I was visiting one of my, my only great aunt that's still alive. She's 102 now. She was 97 at the time. And, old New York Jewish chick. And I happen to have a Chevy Suburban as my rental car. So I show up with this thing. I'm pulled up, and she just takes one look at it and goes, "Oh no, we'll take my car." So she's driving us around in her Toyota Camry. She doesn't drive anymore, but man, I'll tell you what, she's a force of nature. She really is. So anyway, I can understand older folks try to get in and out of Chevy Suburbans not be the easiest thing. Yeah, it is. It's just not pretty. This one, I truly cannot begin to tell you just how much it cheers me to hear about this. This is one of those awesome pieces of news. Hang on a second here. Let me silence this thing. If I don't do this, sometimes it starts snooping and trying to call in. All right, just doing that, it will shut up. This one coming in from MLN.com. Democrats are panicking over Supreme Court rulings, and it is hilarious. So right now, the Democrats are losing their stuff because, oh yeah, the bump stock ban is now gone. That's right. The bump stock ban is now. That's right. It's gone. Yep. No more bump stock ban. Yeah. It's a dead duck. So anyway. Oh, you want background music? Okay, we can do this. So looking on AMLA.com. Imagine watching a bad movie where the characters keep overreacting to every little thing. That's exactly what's happening to the Democrats right now. They're freaking out over the Supreme Court's recent decision to scrap the bump stock ban, acting like it's the end of the world. And they think the court is plotting to arm everyone with machine guns. You know what? That wouldn't be such a bad damn thing. I mean, seriously, Senator Chris Murphy, Democrat of Connecticut, might as well have been a character in a soap opera, given how he dramatically talks about the Second Amendment. So Murphy was on CNN recently sounding dramatic about how the Supreme Court is, quote, readying to fundamentally rewrite the Second Amendment. I got bad news for you there, Chris. First off, the Second Amendment is not a limitation on the public. It's a limitation on you. And if you want to get really down and dirty about how it's written, everything that you guys have, potentially the public, should have access to. So, essentially, the way that the Second Amendment is written is, basically the militia of which we are, everybody from was it 17 to like 65 or something like that. They're supposed to be armed similarly to the U.S. military. You think about Switzerland, all those guys have machine guns. They're very responsible. And they have ammo that is issued to them as a second reign of terror for anybody trying to invade the place. Nose bug me. Excuse me. So anyway, the way the Second Amendment is actually written up, we're supposed to be the standing militia to protect the homeland in case of invasion. Well, Chris, if you really, really want to really crap in your knickers, just remember this. 3 states of deer hunters is more than the standing army right now of these United States. And these guys, they don't mind being in a tree all day long, freezing their asses off. And if they get a shot, great. If not, it's still a good day. These are the kind of guys that truly probably makes that whole thing about, like, they'll find a gun behind every blade of grass, as quoted by the Japanese back in World War II. That's the reason why you guys in the Democrat Party are crapping your knickers right now with the idea of a fully armed public going, you know what? Us having the stuff and telling the bad guys not to play games anymore is not such a bad thing. So, according to him, it's all part of some evil plan to make it impossible for Congress to pass any gun laws. But here's the kicker. All the Supreme Court did was rule that the AFT just couldn't make up the rules to call bump stocks machine guns. Justice Clarence Thomas wrote the opinion basically saying that AFT was stretching the law too much. It's like when your teacher's catching you trying to explain that your dog ate your homework and they're not buying it. Chris, I got more bad news for you. All these gun laws that you put in place are directly in correspondence with the amount of murders that took place yearly. So 30,000 murders, 30,000 gun laws, 40,000 more murders, 40,000 gun laws. Sounds kind of similar, doesn't it? So every time something bad happens, you go, it's the guns, it's the guns. You excuse the behavior of the bad guys, and you say, oh no, it's the inanimate object leaping off the table and going out to find somebody. Enough of this stuff. Enough. These laws need to get taken down by piecemeal, and you guys in the Democrat Party need to lose the game every chance possible because it is bad juju. Anyway, so scrolly. What else we got going on here? I truly love when hearing gun laws go bye-bye. Yeah. I finished working on Binky. You guys know him, you love him, but I worked on Binky, and I think Binky is pretty much done. Binky is the light bright unit that I have, and I was looking for like a retro TV kind of thing, and I think I kind of have it. So let me play with the modes here. It's kind of hard to try to do this, like, doing things in inverse. I am going to rework this in such a way that the lights stay on and then, I put it behind me or something. I don't know. I don't know how this would look, at a distance, but, it's a little bright for close up and personal. But I do like the fact it has like a retro TV thing going on. It took a long time to get, all the pegs set up. So that was one of those, kind of, actually, what was I watching? Oh, I was watching one of the James Coburn, Flint movies. That's when I finished this. I was working on this and humorously distracted by all the hotties from the 60s. That was interesting. Scrolly. So Binky is good to go. I'm thinking. I don't know if you guys heard about this or not, but Gargle Voice is not going to be doing the CNN debate, and I'm talking about RFK Jr., the not centrist, the not libertarian. He is a screaming, I don't even know how to say it other than he's a screaming watermelon. He's green on the outside, red in the middle, and there's no other way to simply explain the guy. He is a freaking eco geek of the highest level. I cannot begin to express to you how off point he is on most things, except for simply stating the fact that he's like, oh yeah, well, I'm not going to put any gun legislation in, but if any crosses my desk, I would sign it. So basically you're saying, she's only going to be a little bit pregnant, but I was only just in the same house at the time. Just give me 1 second here. Do not trust him at all. He is, he's of that stripe of Democrat that says, oh, no, I'm not a Democrat. I'm new. I'm something different. No, you're not. You're the same piece of toast that's gone back in a toaster and it's just gotten burnt more. You're not any different than the rest of those guys than previous. I'm not impressed with you in any of your public statements or any of your behind the scenes statements. You, sir, are not that guy. Let's see. Scroll. Oh, coming in from Yahoo News. So RFK Jr. fails to qualify for CNN's debate, so it'll be a showdown between Biden and Trump. Excuse me, folks. The idea of Joe Kaka facing off against Donald Trump right now and saying, oh, yeah, he's going to go in there, he's going to clean his clock. Oh, man. So Columbia, South Carolina, Associated Press, independent presidential. He is not an independent. Okay, I guess you could say he's independent because he's just screwy enough that he has to be something other than a Republican, but he's not quite screwy enough to be as absolutely moon bat hit crazy as the rest of the DNC. So anyway, independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has failed to qualify for next week's debate in Atlanta, according to host network CNN. I really want to call it, the Communist News Network, falling shy of the benchmarks both for state ballot qualification and necessary polling. So the missed markers mean that June 27 showdown will be solely between Democrat President Joe Kaka and presumptive Republican nominee Donald Trump. This denies Kennedy a singular opportunity to stand alongside the leading candidates in an attempt to lend legitimacy to his long shot bid and convince potential supporters he has a shot at winning. Dude, you don't have a. How can I possibly clean this up other than what I really truly want to say here? You don't have a pot to whiz in worthy of the chances. So in the statement Thursday, Kennedy called his exclusion from the debate undemocratic, un-American, and cowardly. Dude, no, put the blame where it falls. You, sir, cannot engender the support to get the numbers for anybody possible to go, oh, yes, golf clap. Yes, you're our guy. Yeah, you don't engender that kind of support. That should tell you something, dude. You ate all that, and they ain't all in for you. So all that and all the rest of that fun stuff, you might not be the guy. That's putting it politely. You might not be the guy. Both Biden and Trump campaigns fear that Kennedy can pull a spoiler in anticipating to be a close general election. Okay, he is not Ross Perot, okay? He is not going to engender 20% of the vote like Ross Perot or 18%, whatever he got. He's not going to be a Ross Perot. Believe that. You're not going to have all these disaffected Democrats going, I can't vote for Joe Biden, but I sure can't vote for Orange Man Bad with his MAGA Republicans. Dude, you are not going to pull those numbers, okay? At best, you're going to pull some protest votes. People going, I'm not going to vote for Joe Biden because he didn't blah, 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 and XYZ and cross all the T's, dot all the I's, and, make my disaffected cause the cause celeb and fix all my worldly problems. No, dude, no. That's just not going to happen. You ain't that guy. Not. So according to the criteria set up by CNN, candidates should be invited to participate in the debate if they have secured a place on ballot in states totaling at least 270 votes in the electoral college, the minimum needed to win the presidency. Okay, dude, you can't even cop the numbers to get the 270 votes. You are a piece of poop in the punch bowl, at best. Biden and Trump have easily cleared the polling threshold, but won't be certified for ballot until the parties formally nominate them later this summer. Both have secured enough delegates to lock in their nominations. Kennedy, you don't have that. You don't have enough delegates. Kennedy's campaign says he satisfied the Republicans to appear on the ballot in 22 states with a combined 310 electoral votes, though not all have affirmed his name will be listed. You ain't the guy. California, the largest prize electoral map with 54 votes, will not certify any candidates until August 29. Candidates will also be required to reach a polling threshold of 50% in 4 reliable national polls. Kennedy, by June 20, another metric CNN said Kennedy failed to meet. According to the network, Kennedy received at least 15% in 3 qualifying polls so far and is currently on the ballot in 6 states, making him eligible for 89 electoral college votes. Poop in the punch bowl. Last week, Kennedy filed an election complaint alleging CNN is colluding with Biden and Trump to exclude him from the June 27 debate, alleging that the participant requirements would be designed to ensure only Biden and Trump would qualify, and claiming he's being held to a higher standard. Dude, you can't even reach the bottom. I really want to curse here. You can't even reach the bottom for cock-a-doodle rung. CNN said a complaint is without merit. Kennedy's campaign did not immediately respond to the message Thursday, seeking comment on CNN's announcement and asking if he planned to take any further action about his exclusion. Mind you, this is Yahoo. This is not like, some really, MAGA beholden website here. They're trying to be nice here. They're like, Kennedy, dude, sorry. No. Last month, Biden and Trump agreed to the CNN debate, and second on September 10th, hosted by ABC, bypassing the nonpartisan commission that has organized debates for nearly 4 decades. Well, if they bypassed them, obviously they're not partisan. Wrong. They definitely are partisan. After winning a coin toss, Biden's campaign chose the right podium position, meaning he will be on the right side of right side of the viewer's screens with Trump on his left, according to CNN. Trump's campaign then opted to deliver his closing statement after Biden. Both campaigns are agreed to appear at the podiums and microphones be muted, except for the candidates whose turn it is to speak. Now, right off the bat, if they ever did anything like that to me, I wouldn't even attend. If you mute my microphone, except for when I'm supposed to speak, and you play with the clocks, I don't get an appropriate time period to speak. However, letting Trump have the final word, I don't know if that's really that big a deal. I don't know if that's really going to stick in everybody's heads. I think they're going to see Joe Kaka the whole time just going, yeah, that's something I'm not going to have to ignore. It just looked like it didn't mean anything. I'm just going to keep grinning like an idiot and shaking it off and just, oh, shucks, that doesn't mean anything. Fake smile. I'm just going to maintain the fake smile because it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything at all. Just laugh it off, shuck and jive, shake my head no. That's the kind of fake acting stuff that they teach these guys. And you don't see Trump doing that. Trump just kind of comes out there and goes, nah, that's crap. He's not doing the, fake smile. Hey, it didn't mean anything. I'm not offended by it in the slightest. Hey. What, Remy? That's Mr. Remy. What, Mr. Remy? Hi. Mr. Remy's looking for attention. What? I think Mr. Remy's lonely because I'm the only one home right now. What's up, Rem? He's looking for butt scratching. Yes. All right, you need to go up. Down. Yes. I got him trained to hit the seat in the corner there. So that was my doggy moment. So anyway, I'm not seeing it really working out all that particular great. And I'm not really seeing things switching up all that terrible much to say, oh yeah, well, RFK is really going to rock the dude can not get the numbers. That's it. Anyway, time to hoist one for a member of the North, the Great White North, who came south to the lower 48s. But actor Donald Sutherland, I salute you, sir. He did some really cool roles. I mean, I really am not huge on his politics, and obviously, he was kind of kicking it with Jane Fonda, but maybe he got his druthers, and he was hitting it for a while. He was hitting it for a while with Jane Fonda, but did some really, really cool roles, and was a very interesting actor. And unfortunately, now he's passed. So, age 88, Donald Sutherland, sir, rest in peace. Jobs and companions. Scrolly. I don't know if you guys saw this one on. I did post a video earlier last week, and I was talking about the difference between buying like a used smartphone or an iPhone. The major problem with all the newer phones, they got AI. I'm not a fan of AI. I mean, obviously, there's the aspects of obviously, your search engines are probably going to be AI, but if it's not hardwired on the phone, it's just hitting their stuff. This is still a terminal. It's not wired in. It's not hardcore going, oh yeah, I'm going to snoop on all your stuff and try to learn all your life, stuff and be really, really pointedly, needing to know all these things and just being too invasive. Anyway, looking at way, shape, and form which we find ourselves, I'm still not a fan of iPhones, and I do not like AI, so that's why I'm still playing with an older phone. Scrolly. There is no spitting girl stuff on my channel. There is some memes, but I am not doing the whole playing the Hawk 2 thing. That is, oh my god, that thing came out of nowhere, and it has gotten a second life, third life, 23rd life, umpteen bazillion life, and it is just way too much. Now, if you guys don't know about the whole Hawk 2 thing, there was a guy doing an interview to a couple of girls. I don't know if they're outside a sports venue or something, but the guy walks over and he's like, so what's the one thing a girl could do to really liven up a relationship? And the girl just looks at him and goes, oh, you gotta go Hawk 2 and spit on that thing. Well, so far I've seen all kinds of stickers, all kinds of memes. It's gotten so bad that I actually opened up my email and I'm looking in there and it's 80% lowers with Hawk 2 spit on that thing on the side of the 80% lower receivers. No, no, not going to go that route. The whole Hawk 2 thing, I'm going to give it about, 15 minutes of fame. Supposedly the girl's cranking out some swag. I hope she cashes in. I hope she makes a, I hope she makes an hit ton of money on it. I hope she gets really, really wealthy off it because the 15 minutes of fame are fleeting at best, but I hope she cashes in and does really, really well. I have she should have been this, that. No, I have absolutely no problem whatsoever when somebody else comes up with something and it hits and they get the fad stuff and they really start cashing in. Absolutely. God bless you. Make as much money as you possibly can. Enjoy it while you can. Your fame will be fleeting, unfortunately, but it's kind of fun to watch you get, hopefully very, very rich. Scrolly. I got a bunch more. Stop that. I did make another mention of one of my favorite bad guys, Christopher Lee, also known as Scaramanga in Man with the Golden Gun from 1974, the Bond films. Obviously, it was Saruman in the Lord of the Rings. Dude plays some really, really kick-ass roles. Count Dooku in Star Wars, the Star Wars movies. Absolutely awesome, awesome dude. And the thing about it is people don't know his history. I mean, the guy literally is seriously scary, was seriously scary smart, and was actually somebody involved in, members of spy type stuff. And so one of the funnier things I remember hearing was they didn't, somebody was walking up, they're like, so you did really secret stuff. Can you tell me about it? And he's like, well, I may have done these things. And when I did these things, I had to keep a secret. And they're like, so yeah. And he's like, I still keep a secret. So basically shot him down, being nice about it, but shot him down. And started out actually special forces, like the precursor to the SAS, tried to become a pilot, but unfortunately he found out when he's involved in aerobatic maneuvers, he'd get blurred vision and headaches. And they found out he had issues with his optic nerves, so he got grounded. So unfortunately he couldn't fly. So he became a spy. I forget what the instance was, but him and Hitchcock got together, and Hitchcock was like, "Okay, when you stab somebody, is there like the ah?" And he goes, "Oh no, most times when you stab somebody, they just kind of go, ugh, and they just fall over." He goes, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yeah, because you just jammed a knife into their back. You just basically deflated their lungs. They can't yell, so they just kind of go, ugh, and they fall over. And if you get it right, they fall over just they're just dead." And he's like, "Oh," he goes, "Have you done that?" He goes, "I know what it sounds like. You can take from it what you will." And it was like Hitchcock was like, "Oh, right, right, okay." It's like, yeah, the been there, done that, and there's a reason why I know these things. But yeah, I mean, total badass. And supposedly the guy was like unbelievably personable and just nice to deal with. And the other thing too is also I've heard it like expressed. It's like the nicest guys actually play the best bad guys. And if anybody wanted to be truly malevolent, evil, Dracula, scary dude, yeah, you really truly were good at it, sir. Christopher Lee played a really great bad guy. Uh, Supposedly there was one of the other things I thought was hilarious. Roger Moore was known to be an absolutely hilarious guy to be around. You have this very cultured British sounding guy who would just seriously crack up everybody that he dealt with. There was one time where they were working the man with the golden gun, and Roger Moore found a cave that was full of bats. So he found Christopher Lee, who was known to play Dracula back in horror movies, and tell him what he found and was like, "Master, these are yours to command." So supposedly Christopher Lee was rolling on the ground laughing, going, "Oh yes, you found me my minions. Thank you so much." But that's the kind of stuff that Roger Moore would do. I remember seeing him talking about, of course, the guy that played Jaws. And it was like, "Oh yes, he was just the nicest man to deal with." You would never imagine like this giant guy being just like this really really cool person to deal with. But supposedly they were great friends and they really had good times working together in the Bond films. So much so that I'm sure that Cubby Broccoli was like, "Would you guys be serious, please? You're supposed to be adversaries." "Oh, right, right, right. Okay, we have to be mean to each other and mad, and okay, we're back in character." I'm sure that probably happened on the set more times than they want to talk about. But yeah, Christopher Lee, I gotta pay homage. I mean, that guy really, truly was one of my favorite bad guy actors. Just awesome. Have you guys heard about it or not? Obviously, on the 23rd, that was celebrating a anniversary with Mrs. Dude. We were married on June 23, 2009. So what is that, 14, 15 years now? Yeah, so we're in the hole for 15 years, but that is not how long we've been together. We've actually been together since 2001. So, scroll, happy anniversary to the wife. Good stuff like that there. Uh, I don't know if you guys really give this guy any truck whatsoever. I give him probably zero attention because he's not a freaking at all. No, he's not. He is not. So Bill Nye, the science guy, who's really he's just not okay. Bill Nye is not a scientist. They say he's science educator. Yeah, well they can't say he's scientist because he's not science educator. I think that's absolutely hilarious. So Bill Nye is now decrying the fact that it's summer, but he's not a science guy. In fact, he's a mechanical engineer, and he's known to be the guy that had Bill Nye the Science Guy TV show. Uh, his personal life is really kind of chaotic. He's really had a kind of crazy personal life. Anyway, so he's saying that extreme weather and record-breaking heat could be the start of a quote-unquote new normal. Bill, it's called summertime. We have cyclical forms of heat and cold. It happens to be rather hot. However, Bill Nye is kind of blithely unaware or blithely not making note of the fact that in 1988, during the summertime of 1988, we had basically the entire United States at 95 degrees. And that's literally like, the coasts were obviously blisteringly hotter than that, but the interior and the other parts of the country, 95 degrees. Okay. So the whole country was 95 degrees or more. Currently, you look at sections of the country, not as hot. Sections of the country are way hotter. It's called summer. That's what happens. So Bill and I really, truly, no, he's not that guy. Quote, it's the beginning of the new normal with respect. So the latest research is that there's no turning point or tipping point or knee in the curve. It's going to get hotter and hotter and worse and more extreme, he said. So this is a taste of the future, normal to future, unless we, humankind, get to work and address it, he added. Okay, I remember back in the 70s when they were doing all the world's coming to an end movies. First, we were going to freeze. Then we were going to cook. And then meteors were coming to get us. And then, volcanoes were coming. Tsunamis, earthquakes. Then we were going to freeze again. And then now we're going to cook again. But 10 years, they were saying we're going to be frozen solid. 20 years, we're going to be roasting. It's 50 years ago, folks. And really, it's the same blanking weather as we had back then. It gets hot, it gets cold. We have one hot year, we have one cold year. It goes back and forth because, even though they come up with all these air quotes models of weather conditions, they can't even tell us with great assurance what the weather is going to be 2 months from now. So if they can't do that, how in the blanking hell are they going to get it correct for tens of thousands of years, other than pulling up an air bubble and going, the content of the air in here is blah, blah, blah. We know that's going to be this, that, and the other thing. You don't know what the temperature was, dude. You can do estimates. You can do potential, we know, comparatively that X versus this is that. And we think that it might be this, that, and the other thing. But if you want to really, truly get hardcore, there was way more CO2 back when the dinosaurs were around than ever has been around in modern history. And those big ass critters were walking around going, no problem at all. So the uptick of CO2 that we've had is such a minute quantity that it's really not even truly that notable. Other than the plants are like, oh, dude, this is great. We get to scarf in more CO2. Oh, yes. Conversely, we'll just poop out more oxygen because that's what plants do. These pseudoscience people really, truly are just the worst. Absolute worst. Scrolly. Joy. Oh, and I'm really going to be very careful here. Joy Behar. Ugh. You ever notice how Democrats have none of your values but insist that you need to support them, or you aren't of the values they've never had themselves? Or the other classic one, right? You better vote for us or you're not really black, or you better vote for us or you're really not one of these type of things. If I was black and somebody had told me something like that, I would never, ever support them in my life term ever, ever again. I'm not XYZ enough because I don't support you. Dude, there's no way in the world I'm going to change a character trait or a physical trait simply because I'm supporting you or not supporting you. Anyway, so she's an unfunny comic, and now she's just a fugly, squawking with a bunch of other pissy female liberal assholes playing to other brain-addled, crapwit leftards seeking to further screw up our country by electing really hit bags. So Joy Behar was in rare form attacking the recent decision by Louisiana to post the 10 Commandments in public schools. She then used that to attack the former president, and in the same breath, she managed to insult every Christian who will back a Republican this fall. Coming in from the Daily Caller, The View co-host Joy Behar suggested Thursday that people who vote for former President Donald Trump are not true Christians. Joy Behar is Jewish. This guy, quote, this guy has gone above and beyond, and yet these Christians, these so-called Christians, are going to vote for him, Behar said. The children see this 10 Commandments in school, and then they see their parents. It just seems ironic that he's broken every law of the commandment, and they think he's one to vote for. What's the matter with everybody, Behar added. Well, First and foremost, the Ten Commandments is a rule book for you and God. It's not a rule book for you to say, hey, you didn't follow X, Y, and Z. I think I now can judge you on these things. There's a phrase in Latin, and it took me a second to look it back up again. So there's a phrase in Latin, and I thought it was absolutely epic. And it's so perfect. So perfect. But the phrase is solos deus solos deus or solos deus me judicet, which means only God can judge me. Solos deus me judicet. Yeah, and I'm sure I'm really fracturing Latin, but it's a dead language, okay? Nobody really speaks Latin anymore except for guys in church and like guys who study that type of stuff. Nobody really speaks Latin. But yeah, I use that phrase interestingly. I don't know if you guys thought about this one or not, but this one is kind of one of the sauce for the goose, sauce for the gander type of things. It's done in Israel. It's done in places. It's done in other places. We did it during WW2. So the Democrats have now slipped in a draft woman clause in the National Defense Authorization Act. That is not by mistake. That is a poison pill. And the Republicans are like, oh, no, you can't put women under arms in combat zones. That's not what we're saying, dude. If you're going to draft the men, it's only fair that you draft the women too. You place them in non-combat roles and you sign them up for the draft. Israel, Russia, and lots of other places use or have used women in wartime. Oh, if you don't know your history, there was such a thing known as a ferry pilot. So Ferry. The men that were over flying the fighter jets, flying the bombing missions, flying, the other aircraft in World War II, well, they were in the combat zones. The ferry pilots was the women getting into the plane and flying it from the United States over to Europe. Then they would fly back, get another plane, fly it over. That was ferry flights. You are ferrying the plane from one place to another. You are not an active combatant. I'm sure some of those people got shot down. So I'm not belittling them in the slightest or saying, well, it wasn't a dangerous job. No, I'm saying they were in a non-combat role, still serving the cause. If you look at the old phrasing, there was the waves, there was the WACs, the Women's Auxiliary Corps. I think the waves, Women Auxiliary, I forget what the V stands for, but it's the old nomenclature type stuff. But they were utilized to keep the stuff from being too many men doing too many jobs with not enough people in the combat zones. The women were freeing up the men to go and fight. So that is not a bad thing. Administrative type stuff, ferry pilots, other vehicle operator jobs where they're non-combat zones. Women drive trucks. I mean, there's no problem with that one whatsoever. You see a lot of lady truck drivers. That's not an issue. A chick can draw a truck. That is not a problem. So that's something that really the Republicans are kirking out about. But fair being fair, they have all this thing about, well, there's nothing that men can do that women can't do. Well, fine. Put on a blanket uniform in time of warfare. Help the cause. I have no problem whatsoever with women being drafted alongside men. Because a draft means things are really, really, really bad. Scrolly. This is one of those air quotes, ironic type of, shaking my head type of, love this chick. But supposedly billionaire Taylor Swift is called out as phony after leading the crowd in a F Chuck the Patriarchy chant. this chick, the stuff writes itself. I mean, really, truly does. There's no way to simply say anything better than just let her talk, and she'll hoist herself in her own petard, looking completely blank and ridiculous as a silly, liberal, rich chick. No other way to say it except for what it is. Scrolly. This one I find very, very interesting. Supposedly now, the military guys that got hosed are looking at reports now about COVID vaccine injuries in the U.S. military. And we don't have to worry about things being in the
No zone.
no, sound guy. It's not in the no. We're not in the no zone, okay? There is no more
No zone.
sound guy. There's no more no zone. There's no more no zone, okay? We only have to worry about the
Fact check.
no. Well, there could be a fact check, but we're talking about the
The Chinese Communist COVID viral infection. Clot shot.
exactly. Okay, so the clot shot caused problems, screwed up people in the military. I hope that there's a class action suit and they take the government down, because this is the stuff that they forced on these guys, saying, you got to do this or you can't serve. Speaking of somebody else that's going to get screwed, hopefully, yeah, Fox News had to pay a lot of money to Dominion. Well, who could be hosed? Coming in from Reuters, Newsbusters.com, MRC, Media Research Center. CNN could be forced to pay up to $1 billion in defamation because of a defamation suit from the Tapper Show. Oh, man. Let's see. See what the actual story here was. I'd love to see what the actual news story about this is. Hang on a second here. This is really not a good article because trying to make sense of it. The case hinges on the CNN's use of the phrase black market exploited to describe Young's legitimate business helping corporately sponsored Afghans escape the country as it collapsed around them and the Taliban retook control. Young's clients included Audible and Bloomberg News, one of CNN's industry peers, as he saved 24 people. So essentially, this guy is now going to basically throw it on Jake Tapper, going, you went too far. This one I think is hilarious. This one's a news footage. I cannot do this justice, but the chick is being all combative and whatnot. But supposedly there's a Democrat judge who was arrested for assaulting a police officer outside a nightclub. And the way that she was, I'm not identifying myself. And he's like, just tell me your name. I can't go anywhere. So anyway, it's getting very interesting when, these people get stupid. And she didn't appear all that hammered. She was just being an a-hole. And she's now got a felony on herself. So that little butt puckering, clenching that you Democrats are feeling now, get ready to feel it for you in a way, way worse way. So Trump is now entering landslide victory territory in a blowout new Rasmussen poll. That is so funny. This one I find hilarious. I know this chick probably is, hit canned at this point, but supposedly a silly TDS a-hole at Amazon thinks that she would stop the MAGA hats from being sold by denying them in Amazon. Get ready for the firestorm, you dipstick. You will be tossed, and there will not anything like this make them look bad. Supposedly, Amazon's doing an investigation, and no matter what products they're selling, the last thing they want is somebody on staff going, I'm not letting this go out the door because I don't like the XYZ content. If it's on for sale, you in the warehouse are not supposed to stop this type of stuff. Yeah. This one, of course, being very, very interesting. Supposedly from the Hill, Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey, Republican, announced Thursday he intends to sue the state of New York over its quote-unquote unconstitutional lawfare against former President Donald John Trump. Quote, I'll be filing suit against the state of New York for their direct attack on our democratic process through the unconstitutional lawfare against the President Trump. The state of Missouri and the voters of Missouri have a sovereign interest in having access to, and that means physical access to and hearing from the presidential candidate for the top office of the United States government. So Missouri's now suing New York. Oh man. Scrolly. In a related story to people seeing things that are getting spicy. Oh man, it's getting very spicy. Let's see here. Supposedly Jimmy Carter can now probably die a man contented that he's not going to go down as the very worst American president. Wow. Yeah, wow. Brutal. 10 o'clock time period. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Decided to hang out with me on a Tuesday. You know, many other things to do, but you guys decided to hang out with me, and I truly appreciate your kind attentions. You guys had many other things to do. You get a gold star for attendance. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I will catch you guys next time on next week, unless I put out something earlier next week. It didn't come out so good. But anyway, so I'm going to break up for this one, folks. Eat your keep pretending as always, you know, you love it. Let me know how the microphone sounds in the comments. I did change the volume and change a couple little aspects, so hopefully it's a little better. Hopefully it's not like overmodulating and popping and cracking as I'm like, you know, breaking the gate, as they call it in the business. So I'll catch you guys next week. Good stuff like that there, and I will see you then. Binky says bye-bye, too. Catch you guys later. Have a good night, and I will see you next time. British!